Barry mistreats Alex for not earning enough money and intimidates her to acquire more clients. Meanwhile, the handymen receive a call from Joel. Later, Joel compensates the handyman for their services while Nick concludes his assault on the thugs. As Nick boasts about how much money he has gained, the three hear a noise around the corner. After a man departs, a bloodied Alex emerges, and Joel waves her away, with Warwick then inquiring about her. As Alex departs, a folded handkerchief falls onto her head, prompting her to look up, but she finds no one present. Meanwhile, at the end of a meeting involving three of the Big Four, Daniel questions Uranos about any ties he might have to the gang that has been recently problematic. Uranos slams a bundle of cash on the table and roughly responds that he should use that to eliminate the gang, also stating that Daniel should cease making unfounded accusations. This action leads Marco and Loretta to also place a bundle of cash on the table, while Daniel asserts that 3,000 should suffice for a cleanup operation. Uranos then inquires about who would oversee the task, with Daniel responding that the natural ones would handle it, and he would arrange everything. Warwick, Nick, and Betty go to Connie's gun shop, where they have been eating. Warwick inquires about the gang, and Connie shares what she has seen and heard regarding them. She concludes by stating that ultimately, the Big Four would dispose of them, as Warwick and Nick subtly go for second servings. Inspector Chad expresses his irritation at the handyman's tardiness, and as he struggles to light his cigarette, Warwick arrives and ignites it for him. Chad asks about Nick's whereabouts and is startled when Nick pats him on the head from behind. Chad then updates them on Barry Abbott's recent actions and requests the handyman to completely erase all traces related to him and his gang. Warwick questions what to do about Alex, but Chad instructs him to eliminate everyone. Warwick hesitates to dispatch a woman, but Nick interjects, asking Chad if they can take anything as loot, and Chad consents. Directing them to proceed with their usual activities, the two smile wickedly. A customer concludes his encounter with Alex and pays her for it. As she pulls up her knickers, she notices that she has dropped the handkerchief she found earlier on the floor. Elsewhere, Cody inquires whether it is acceptable to allow the handymen to act freely, and Chad reassures him that it is, as he has known them for a long time, but he cautions Cody about Nick. Nick watches over the gang while Warwick meets with Alex. Alex expresses regret for staining the handkerchief and requests Warwick to convey her gratitude to Nick using the sign for thanks. They have a discussion, and Warwick inquires why she is with Barry. She responds that it's because she has no other place to go. She then asks him to leave since Barry will become angry, but Warwick replies that Barry won't return, which surprises her. Nick is already in the process of taking out Barry's gang, and as he continues to finish them off, Warwick shoots from behind him, eliminating the remaining members of Barry's group. Having only sustained injuries, Barry attempts to grab a gun, but Nick drives his katana through Barry's hand. Barry begs the handyman to let him live, offering money and women, but Warwick rebukes him before fatally shooting him. An anxious Alex, having heard the commotion earlier, arrives at the bloody scene and fires several more shots into Barry's lifeless body. Alex departs, and Nick proposes to eliminate her, but Warwick refuses and drags her along with them. Chad's face displays shock when he spots them with Alex. He begins a tirade about how she was Barry's woman, but Warwick cuts him off, stating that she was their loot, which he had agreed they could have. Chad reprimands them for allowing her to survive, but Nick quiets him with a forceful kick to his police car before playfully yet menacingly reminding him that they were not under his authority. Chad concedes to their demands, and Cody is left utterly astonished that Nick is capable of speech. Alex sits outside of the handyman's office and gestures "thank you" to Nick. Warwick then opens the window and asks if she could take the phone call while he steps out. The chapter concludes with Alex answering the phone. Nina arrives at the handyman's office and is greeted by Alex, who startles the young girl. When Warwick greets her while dressed only in a towel, Nina misunderstands and runs away, only to run into Nick. Later, Warwick introduces Alex and Nina, and Nick hands Nina a drink, with her thanking him using sign language. Warwick then inquires about her reason for coming, and Nina responds that she has brought medicine for Nick from Dr. Theo, and also that Theo needed assistance with some thugs who were too tough for Marco's men. Warwick quickly realizes that Dr. Theo is likely facing an issue with Tagged, and Nick asks how strong the tagged individual is, to which Nina responds that he is probably B rank or higher, prompting Nick to grin mischievously. Warwick then instructs Nick to go ahead while he will catch up. As Nina and Nick walk to Theo's clinic, Alex distracts some gang members who were watching Nina, and Warwick approaches from behind and eliminates them all. Nina hears the gunfire and wonders what it was, but Nick dismisses it. Nina regretfully concludes that it was probably a gunshot, and she and Nick proceed to Theo's clinic. At the clinic, the tagged threatens Dr. Theo to accept his offer, but he coolly declines and then greets Nick and Nina upon their arrival, surprising the tagged. Frustrated, the tagged slams one of his subordinates into a wall and attempts to intimidate Nick by flaunting his B2 rank, but Nick calmly requests Dr. Theo's orders, which he receives. As the tagged arrogantly assumes Nick is a weakling, Nick readies his katana and tells the tagged, through Dr. Theo, that he will take just 3 minutes to defeat him since he is an easy foe. This infuriates the tagged, and the fight begins. Meanwhile, Warwick praises Alex for assisting him with the assassination of the gang members. She expresses regret for helping, but then states that tagged has a different connotation than she anticipated. She proceeds to inquire if Nick is more than just an ordinary mercenary, and Warwick responds that Nick is a former mercenary with a tag, leaving her somewhat puzzled. As they head to the clinic, Warwick accurately deduces that she is not from the area, and then attempts to explain to her what tagged means. As Nick takes control, infuriating the tagged even more, Dr. Theo instructs Nina to head into the clinic and reach out to Inspector Chad. When one of the tagged's gang members tries to confront Nina, Dr. Theo plunges a syringe into his neck and dares the rest of the gang to challenge him. Nina manages to get inside while Dr. Theo cautions Nick to prevent the tagged from ruining his hospital. The tagged exploits Nick's moment of distraction and strikes while Nick is unaware, sending him flying, while the impact of the attack demolishes Dr. Theo's clinic, much to the doctor's dismay. As Nick rises, completely unscathed, he reveals his A0 rank tag and begins to draw his katana, with the tagged watching him in disbelief. At the police station, Cody informs Chad about an incoming call, but Chad refuses it, stating he needs to address a matter with Warwick. Cody then tells Chad that the call was from Nina and concerns Nick battling a tagged. A flustered Chad modifies their plans, directing Cody to prepare a squad car as they will first head to the location of the fight. Outside the clinic, a menacing Dr. Theo threatens to stab Nick with a syringe for unintentionally harming his clinic, pushing the tagged to the brink, prompting him to attack the two with a pipe. Nick swiftly slices the pipe in half and warns the tagged that 3 minutes are up and he's going to take him out. In fear, the tagged flees, but Nick quickly catches up to him and assaults him midair, resulting in the severely injured tagged crashing to the ground before Alex and Warwick. Warwick humorously praises Nick for defeating the tagged, while Alex is left in shock over the situation. The handymen discuss the predicament of the tagged as he lies unconscious on the ground. Chad arrives and scolds the handyman for causing unnecessary chaos and damage, while Alex chats with Nina. Alex asks Nina if she feels afraid of Nick, but Nina merely states that Alex is the one who is scared since she doesn't know him well enough. Dr. Theo then enters and tells Nina to get the package ready. As Nina departs, she remarks that Nick is genuinely a good guy. With the package in hand, Alex leaves with Warwick while Nina sees them off.
Warwick has a troubling dream about incidents from his childhood. In it, a young injured Warwick is on the ground grasping his eye, his deceased father slouched behind him, and a wounded young Nick standing before him. Alex awakens and gazes outside. She then spots a mint case on the floor and examines it, noticing it read, Eden, Paradise. Just then, Nick enters, and Alex inquires if he's going out, but he disregards her. She observes the tribal tattoo on his back before Warwick subsequently arrives. Nick reminds Warwick what day it is, and Warwick states he has to perform his primary job today. He then requests Alex to assist in delivering Theo's packages with Nick. Alex believes she should remain and handle the phone, but Warwick informs her it would be inappropriate for a woman to answer the phone today. As Alex walks alongside Nick, she awkwardly attempts to ask him what Warwick's main job entails, and he curtly responds that Warwick is a gigolo. Meanwhile, Warwick receives a phone call from one of his clients. Nick and Alex reach Granny Joel's shop, where Joel questions why he is accompanied by a prostitute. Nick answers that she is his woman, and Joel acknowledges this, leaving Alex feeling flustered and puzzled. Nick then begins his work, heading upstairs to conduct business and instructing Alex to wait for him downstairs. Alex purchases cigarettes for Warwick, and Joel shares some details about Nick. Alex then notices an article that Joel is reading and asks what it is. The article features a story regarding the murder of the Arcangelo family, highlighting a picture of a young boy. Joel explains that the perpetrators likely lived in this area since anyone with a troubled background can find refuge there. She concludes by advising Alex not to remain with the handyman for too long. Nick completes his business, and as he leaves, he spots the article beneath his foot. Warwick's client inquires about his left eye, but he brushes it off as unimportant. Nevertheless, she kisses it to make it better. Warwick then dresses and prepares to leave as his client brings up an article she read in the newspaper about the murder incident. He sidesteps the discussion, and she asks when she will see him again, to which Warwick responds that it depends on the payment. Warwick reunites with Nick and Alex, and the handymen first meet Marco and Galahad to deliver their medicine to them. Later, the handymen witness an execution. to Alex's dismay, before providing Daniel Monroe with the usual medicine as well. Warwick engages in conversation with Daniel while Delico and Yang dispose of the dead bodies, after which Daniel offers Nick a position back with the Monroe family. Nick casually declines his invitation with a smile, and Daniel remarks that it is unfortunate. The handymen eventually arrive at a brothel operated by Georgiana, a member of the Corsica family. Alex observes that Warwick appears to be quite popular, and he clarifies that he used to work there. Alex questions why Nick is waiting outside, and then notices the nearby people disparaging Nick for being a tagged. When one prostitute inquires why Warwick is associating with a tagged, Warwick menacingly instructs her to be silent, causing everyone around to halt and stare. Georgiana then arrives, apologizing for her daughter's behavior and inviting them all inside. Georgiana then offers another apology, explaining that it is due to the Corsica family's disapproval of Twilights. Warwick also inquires if she would apologize for his behavior to one of her daughters. Georgiana dismisses it and requests her package. Warwick retrieves the medicine and outlines all the consumption details. He subsequently asks how she is, and the scene transitions to Nick examining a bedridden woman. Warwick then states that he needs to return to his real job and instructs Alex to accompany Nick back. As Warwick departs, Alex observes Nick in a room with the girl from earlier. In the morning, Alex awakens and gazes out of the window once more. After Nick walks by, she enters Warwick's room and questions when he returned. Noticing him asleep, she tousles his hair, but is taken aback to discover he also has the same tribal tattoo as Nick. When Warwick awakens, he realizes Alex has left, with the Paradise Mint case resting on top of some clothes. Alex is outside the handyman's office when Warwick shows up and advises her to exit Ergastulum before it becomes too late, tossing her the mint case. She smiles and then asks him when he began working as a gigolo. He responds to her, and then Alex asks him if he has ever pondered the question, why? Warwick acknowledges that it is a good question. Meanwhile, Nick, seated in the office, begins to experience disturbing flashbacks of events from his childhood, while Warwick endures similar memories.